An official representing a bloc of West African nations said the military intervention in Niger to reinstate the president is the last resort, but one that the coalition is preparing for it. The military option is the very last option on the table, the last resort, but we have to prepare for the eventuality, said the ECOWAS Commissioner, Abdel Fattah Musa. ECOWAS is a 15-nation bloc, but after a series of coups in West Africa, it has suspended several members, including Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, and now Niger. Mali and Burkina Faso have warned ECOWAS that intervening in Niger would be considered a declaration of war against them. Whilst the US refuses to call the overthrow of the president of Niger 2 weeks ago a coup, the French have been the most aggressive, cutting aid and security arrangements with Niger and pushing the African Economic Union to intervene. France and the US have been in an intense battle in West Africa since 2020. 5 coups have now taken place that have seen US-trained soldiers overthrow French-supported leaders. Niger is now the latest battleground between the US and France for influence in this resource-rich region. An op-ed published by military.com called for the US military to restart the draft amid a recruiting crisis resulting from decades of endless wars in the Middle East and Africa and skyrocketing veteran suicide rates. The fastest and most effective way to resolve this recruiting crisis is to change how we recruit, wrote Joe Plensler, a retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel. Plensler called for something in between an all-volunteer force and a fully conscripted force. The US draft was abolished in 1973 after years of conscripted Americans being killed in the Vietnam War. The op-ed came after President Biden called upon 3,000 reservists to make available for the Pentagon to deploy to Europe, signaling the military is struggling to maintain its current force posture. Since around the time Russia invaded Ukraine, the US has deployed an additional 20,000 troops to Europe. Amid the recruiting crisis, a poll from Gallup published on July 31st found that the confidence in the US military is at the lowest point in more than 2 decades. The poll found that 60% of the US public trusted the military, the lowest level since 1997. Pakistan cabinet has quietly approved the signing of a security pact with the US, and a significant move that may pave the way for Islamabad procuring military hardware from Washington. Pakistan's cabinet, through a circulation summary, gave its seal of approval to the signing of the Communication of Interoperability and Security Memorandum of Agreement, known as the CIS-MOA, between Pakistan and the US. But with the sentiment towards the US at rock bottom, there has been no official announcement from both nations about the signing of the CIS-MOA. Federal Minister for Information Maryam Aurangzeb has remained silent despite requests for comments from multiple media outlets. The signing of the CIS-MOA means that despite their rhetoric, both countries are keen to maintain the institutional mechanism. The US has, during the War of Terror, accused Pakistan of everything under the sun, despite Pakistani rulers sacrificing the country, its people, and the likes of Afia Siddiqui. The US has still not provided the promised F-16 jets from previous agreements, despite all the support Pakistan has given to the US for its 2-decade war in Afghanistan. It would seem Pakistan's rulers want to remain in the abusive relationship with the US, despite the public being against any relationship with the US.